Destroyer, putting it into the daze, and there's a stun. 2 stuns being spent. Tab is still available for Icelam. Rage has not been popped yet, and Blade Call is going to defuse the situation into the Pentaslash. Blade Dancer puts the Destroyer up into the air, and I do believe he will still have his grab, and there we go. He does use the grab. He's going to suck the Chi away and give him just a little bit more resource to use aggressively into another air combo. But right now, I think the Blade Dancer is dry on cooldowns. He's going to need to back away. He needs to think about how to survive the situation. Knockdown into the Blade Draw, but he doesn't get it, and maybe just a little bit too greedy from Icelam. Fire Spin is doing a lot of damage, and this is the situation we saw in the first game. He could end up just dying, and he does.
Yeah, once again, he dies to the red spin. He doesn't really seem to be in control. Like, he doesn't know what to do against it, and he just doesn't run away from it and gets absolutely crushed.
It really is that combination of the rage and the red spin, and I feel like it's almost because he tried to go for that blade draw at that point. He had the knockdown, he built himself the time and the space to kite away and buy time for his cooldowns to come up, but I feel like he just got a little too antsy and tried to go for the killing blow when he shouldn't have. And then the red spin came out and the situation turned really poorly for the Blade Dancer, for Icelam.
Yeah, so this is the first match for our Destroyer. 1-0 right now. We're gonna reset the sets, just like as if we were in a 1 versus 1 environment. So the Destroyer is up 1 match, 2-0 right now.
Yes, so he needs to win 1 more point, and if he does, he will be moving on to the semifinals. And right now, he's looking like he could do it. And I'm not so sure because I haven't seen a lot of other European destroyers play. Of course, there are a lot of destroyers that represent in North America, but actually even recently, there's been less making it to the later stages of the brackets. Mostly, the classes that have been making it far in these tournaments have been Blade Dancers and Summoners, actually. Destroyers were very, very popular early on, but they haven't actually made it that far recently. Dungeon might be looking to change that. He opens with the Flaming Wheel Invul. Doesn't catch anything. The grab also whiffs from the Blade Dancer. And here comes the jump from the Destroyer, chasing down the Blade Dancer and a good shield stun. No tab spent for Icelam just yet. Vortexes and counterattacks with the chase. Gets the air combo. And he's going to look to mount some offensive pressure after this knockdown. Counter being procced, and there's a beautiful spin to avoid the CC. And that's what I was looking for in the last game that we saw. But Icelam actually did. And here's the classic combo from Dungeon. Fire spin with the rage. And this time Icelam just cutting away. But he gets caught up to... What's he gonna do to end this? He's just taking so much damage, down to 20% health. There's a jump, a F roll, and he grabs up Dungeon, and that's gonna give him a little bit of breathing room. Blade draw, but Dungeon gets away from that situation. The backdash avoids it for him and puts him into the air, and this could look really bad for the Blade Dancer. Vortex into the air combo, but what does he have after this? I don't think he has his Blade draw anymore. He won't be able to do much damage. Again, spins the counter away, but he still has a long time. He still has a long duration to make up before he can really end this match. Another air combo, and that's going to do good work for him. And goes for the grab, but actually gets reflex rolled out of it. Guard break into the shield, and that was quite beautiful from the Blade Dancer. Destroyer down to about 10% health now, and Icelam has made it really interesting. But there's a pool. The tech chase nearly coming in, and he just gets exploded.
He was very close to winning that. After the guard break, I thought he could have finished it, but I guess he just didn't have enough chi to really focus, to really finish off the Destroyer. So I was just really missing there. And then, yeah, a Fury pop into the X and just dead.
Yeah, it's been a very, I feel like this has been a very unorthodox game. The pace of the match is a little bit difficult to read.
Yeah.
And both players are kind of, it seems like in a neutral game, they're kind of running around a little bit, and both in very precarious situations. There isn't a clear set defensive play. There isn't clear aggressive play. I mean, the Destroyer possibly you could describe as always aggressive because he's in the neutral game. He's straight up just popping cooldowns and just going at it.
Yep.
And Icelam is having trouble finding answers. I mean, most of his health was lost because he was just sitting in the fire spin again.
Yeah, once again, he took so much damage from that. And he was away from it. So I'm very surprised that the Destroyer, Donjong, managed to catch up to him and do even more damage with the Hurricane. Very surprising.
And I mean, I feel like in the second game, Asylum did very well to avoid that situation. He played it out almost perfectly, but he can't seem to gain back the answer. What is different about what Dungeon is doing? We'll have to see. Jumps into the daze, immediately stuns him up, and now he's doing animation canceling and already at half health as a Blade Dancer, and he still has the Rage and Fire Spin combo, and if Asylum cannot properly counter that this time around, the game is surely going to be over. A good chase on the Reflex roll for Asylum, and that's going to cause the Destroyers to spend tab, and here's the classic combo. The special Dungeon, Beyblade version 2. He's using the Fire Spin and he just spins away the Blade Dancer.
A classic combo from him. Pop the Fury, do the Hurricane, and, you know, do half his HP.
I don't know what to say, man. I don't know what to say about that.
That just really should not happen, honestly. That is the only thing I can think about there. It just really shouldn't. But he did get the opening. This time he opened really fast, instantly closed up to the Blade Dancer, got some CC on there. Blade Dancer refused to use his reflex roll, didn't use his tap, and lost half his HP, even without the Destroyer popping any Fury. So
he did not use any cooldowns at all.
Yeah, so that's going to be... Yeah, that's it for the first quarterfinal matchup. He has won 2 matches now, so congrats to Donjong. He will
move on to the semis.
In the semis.
So the next match we're going to watch is going to be between Red Eyes and Shuba, which we talked about a little bit. So
Alright, so
it's going to be the Kung Fu Master Blade Master matchup. Yeah. And whoever wins that is going to go on to face Dungeon. And it's difficult to say because we've only really seen Dungeon play once. But I'm interested to see how the other people will respond to the Rage and Fire Spin. There are definitely answers to that.
Well, especially if it's, for example, Red Eyes, who, if he would match up against him as a Kung Fu Master, you have a really easy time of QEing and assessing it and simply not taking any damage from it. Especially since your passive stacks proc up really quickly, and then you have a 100% evade chance. Yeah,
the alacrity really, really helps, or rather agility, I believe they call it.
Yeah.
So the agility will stack up very fast because of the multi-hits, and Kung Fu Master's QE has such a long invul frame, and each time you proc the invul response, like you hear that sound, that puts up 1 stack for the Kung Fu Master, and it gives him incredibly fast movement speed, so he can just run from it, and it also gives him the evasion, which helps against his mitigation. So I'm interested to see.
I'm currently trying to invite Xuba. Do you have Red Eyes in your group already?
Okay, I'll invite Red Eyes.
Alright.
I was trying to invite Shuba, but I think he's AFK.
Yeah, I've tried inviting him. I will always invite the top one, and you can just take care of the bottom.
I'll always invite the bottom side of the bracket.
But
so between Shuba, but what's more interesting to me is the possibility that Shuba moves on, right? If Shuba does move on and goes against Dungeon, I feel like Blade Masters in general have a fairly okay time against Destroyers. They have their Sword Pool, which can open up Destroyers despite their spin. Their Kick is a very, very good tool to knock down the Destroyer. And then combine that with their ability to push away from knockdown with their Blade Call and their damage in the air combo. I think they have a good set of tools against Destroyers. Yeah, the frequency of their side dodges also.
Definitely. They do have a lot of stuff to, dodge those, especially all of these abilities. And later on against the Destroyer as well, just a lot of stuns that they can easily negate with their QE and their block. So, yeah, I think Xuba will have a good matchup against the Destroyer. But first of all, we will see Red Ace versus Xuba.
Kung Fu Master versus Blade Master. And this, I have to say, is one of my favorite matchups to watch, for sure. Kung Fu Master versus Blade Master is it can be very fast paced and it can be very technical, but a lot of it's quite clear cut, right? The Blade Master is very cooldown oriented. To some degree, all the classes are cooldown oriented in this game, but Blade Master I feel more so. And the Kung Fu Master is very keen on trying to get in and break defense and use their evades to try to proc skills. And between those two, the Blade Master needs to be careful about how he throws out his cooldowns, and the Kung Fu Master really needs to have a good read on his opponent to make things happen. So let's see. Red Eyes going in, gets sword thrown, but he actually avoids it. I think he backdashed in the air, but I couldn't really tell. He uses the Ice Flower, but nothing comes of it. And there's the martial dance into the daze, and Shuba gets launched into the air. So the opening going to Red Eyes. Knockdown. He's not going to use anything except for the Blazing Palm right at the end. And there's a Rising Dragon. No tab spent by the Blade Master quite yet. Tries to go for the LB stun, but again, avoiding it very nicely is Rudeus. He tries to use a triple kick, but that gets avoided. Oh, and he accidentally tagged out. Oh my gosh.
Alright. Well, we'll just have to wait until Vino can tag out again. Yeah, we should just start from this again, honestly, since Red Eyes already had an advantage, so it would not be fair to restart.
Yeah, I don't think we have a ruling for what happens if they tag out. I almost want to say you should give the match to the person who didn't tag out.
Yeah, we will. Let's just
we'll have to talk to Avarist about that.
Yeah,
we'll have to talk to Avarist about that. So after this match, I think we should really take a break and talk about what should happen in this match.
Definitely, yeah.
Shuba gonna get the air combo, and I don't even know if these players are really playing. He's gonna use his Rising Dragon, gets the triple kick. There's a tap from the Blade Master, and that's gonna earn him a daze. Strafe dodge from Red Eyes. He's looking for a triple kick proc. Ooh, and a good Ice Flower on the sword throw. That was actually really beautifully done by Red Eyes, but he's at very low health now. Blade Call being used in a neutral game, an interesting choice. And here comes the animation canceling into the Tremor, pressure point strike being utilized. He's going to get the proc stun on the pressure point, and he's actually going to end the game.
All right.
So either way, he's going to take the win.
So we'll see how Everest will decide on this. However, I would say that since Xuba was the one who tagged out and still lost, I would give the win to Red Ace. And
yeah, that would be my gut feeling, and I feel like we have a slight amount of precedence for this in terms of, when you watch, for example, fighting game tournaments, the person who presses the pause button gets an automatic loss. The one thing I will recommend...
we're going to give a loss to the guy that tagged out.
Yeah.
And we're going to give Red Eyes the win.
All right.
And is that going to be set in stone? Like, that's going to be a consistent rule? If the person who tags out, no matter if they're winning or losing, they will get the loss.
It's an unfair advantage, so they get the loss.
All right.
Okay, so we have a clear ruling on that, and I think it is a fair ruling. The worst thing you can do in these situations is give the choice to the players. Because it's really not up to them, and it shouldn't be up to them. I think it's not fair to the players to do that.
Yeah.
But now we do have an official ruling for it. Despite that, however, I mean, when Shuba came back in, he had a good string of offense and actually nearly killed Red Eyes. But Red Eyes actually came back. Good use of triple kick and chased him down, got the Tremor into the pressure point, and the stun lock earned them the win. Beautiful animation canceling from the Kung Fu Master, seasoned veteran, Red Eyes. He will go up one match, or rather one round against Shuba.
Yeah. And he also had a very good opening, dodging the sword throw, being able to dodge that, then getting the stun onto Xuba. Very good opening as well.
Yeah, and later on in the match, we saw he Ice Flowered the next sword throw, so Red Eyes playing very well. Oh, and he Ice Flowers it, and the Penta Slash, and Red Eyes really on point. Gets the air combo, does Shuba in the end, uses the charge stun into his launcher, but Red Eyes is going to be feeling pretty comfortable about that. Another stun into the lightning draw. He's losing a lot of health. Tab being spent here for the Kung Fu Master. Tab still available for the Blade Master. So Red Eyes is going to look to make some plays here. Rising Dragon. There finally is a tab. No reflex roll from the Kung Fu Master. Red Eyes gets dazed up on his reflex roll. And this could be really bad. He avoids the situation just narrowly. Triple kick being dodged. Shuba doing a good job keeping himself out of danger. Tab unavailable for the Blade Master, so he gets put into a stun, and that could be really bad. A good tech chase. Red Eyes making a big play right now. He gets a Tremor into the pressure point. We've seen this before. There's the animation canceling, and that, my friends, is Kung Fu Master at its finest.
Yeah, very incredible how much damage Red Eyes always manages to nuke out in these short amount of times. His animation canceling is really top notch. Always a pleasure to see, and again, he managed to win, well, technically win the opening. He blocked the sword throw and the penta with his Ice Flower, but Xuba wasn't dazed by it, still managed to get another stun onto Red Ace and get pretty decent damage off at the start of the match. However, yeah, Red Ace getting the tap out, getting the escape, and then getting another stun on there and just doing so much damage. Very incredible.
Hey Ari, just to clarify, give Red Eyes one match, not one set.
Oh, did I set that wrong? Alright.
Yes,
So
and also
the
check the
scoreline
score
should be
in the chat.
1-0
Yes.
in terms of
It should be one match.
sparse.
Well, right now it
1-0
should be
for
one match
Red Eyes.
for Red Eyes. and
Yeah.
0 sets for anyone right now.
Yeah.
Uh,
So Red Eyes needs to win one more spar, and if he does, he will move on to the semis.